Welcome to another episode of Ask Alex, where this is a show where I answer your questions right here on this particular show. If you want a question answered on this show, all you have to do is email me at static1459@gmail.com, and you can also tweet me at Mr. Alex Hampton on Twitter. That is the best way to get your questions answered on this show. I get a lot of questions about random particular topics that are happening in Hollywood and happening around the world, movie news, that types of stuff. There's nothing that's really off limits on this show. Now that I've gotten out of the way, let's go ahead to answer the very first question on this show. Now the first question comes from a William Fox. How do you feel about women advocating about being paid equally in Hollywood? Well, thank you for your question, William. Well, if I'm being 100% honest, I think every woman should be paid equally in Hollywood, but not just in Hollywood, but also around the world in general. There's a lot of women who are being paid low minimum wages, whether they're actors, accountants, supervisors, whatever the case may be. And they have our male counterparts who work the same job as they do, and we get paid more. Like, for instance, if where I work, there are people who work the same position that I do at different locations, and I probably make more than them because of the fact I'm a man. And I think that's messed up. I think that there are plenty of women in Hollywood who are more talented than the men are in Hollywood as it sits right now. Like there are certain dudes in Hollywood who are making millions of dollars who shouldn't be making millions of dollars compared to women who actually are really good at what they do in terms of acting. So I think every woman should be paid equally. I think every woman should be treated fairly in regards to negotiating their prices and what they are worth in regards to the movie that's coming out. Now, I will say this: there is a metric when it comes to different things, and I'm not basing this because she's a woman and I'm a man. No, it's about also draw as well. So, like for instance, you could say Will Smith has a bigger box office draw than a what's the female actress? Maybe has a bigger box office draw than maybe Tiffany Haddish. Maybe, I don't know. Given the new climate, I think Tiffany probably has a bigger box office draw. But let's just say, for sake of argument, Will Smith has a bigger box office draw. Hollywood is going to pay him more than they will pay Tiffany Haddish because of the fact of the things that he has done. Not saying that he's better than her or whatever the case may be, but just the fact that he's willing to bring in a lot of people. Not to say that she's not. He's willing to bring in even more. So there is different metrics of how they weigh things. So we do have to keep that in consideration. But overall, I do think that women should be paid equally to men who work the same jobs and do better jobs than them. That's just being honest. Thank you for your question, William. I'll go on to the next question, and it comes from a Mr. Raymond Boyd. And he writes, what are your thoughts about the 5 media closing down their doors? Does that mean that Screen Junkies will lose their YouTube channel? Well, thank you for your question, Raymond. Any of you guys who follow YouTube and follow Screen Junkies is a YouTube channel that produces stuff like movie fights. They produce honest trailers. They do a lot of Comic-Con footage, Comic-Con coverage at Comic-Cons, and they're just basically this really cool fandom Screen Junkies YouTube channel. But to answer the second part of your question, no. Screen Junkies will not be closing down. Screen Junkies is now owned by Fandom. Fandom bought them, I believe, last year or last few months ago. So Screen Junkies is still putting out videos as far as I know. I watched a couple of them a couple of days ago, so I know they're still putting out content. But as far as the whole thing about the 5 media closing their doors, my take is that, well, I am sorry for the people who are losing their jobs because, in this type of day and age, you always want to keep a job. I'm sure Smosh Games and clever movies and clever TV, the whole clever universe there will find a new home somewhere. I hope that they do, because those are really good IPs to do. However, Defy Media has had a lot of ups and downs, especially within the last 12 months. They had a situation last year that I won't get into because I don't know the full things about it. I haven't done my full investigation about it, but they got into a situation last year with a particular employee at Defy Media, and that caused a lot of controversy. And now the fact that they're closing their doors due to whatever the circumstances are, I'm just more sorry for the people who are losing their jobs and they have to find more another place to work, another source of income. So that's where I'm at with Defy Media. Well, thank you for your question, Mr. Raymond. Now I'm going to get into my next question from a Mr. Tyler Brown. Do you think we'll ever see more black directors leading in the box office? Well, I hope so. I hope to be one of those black directors at some point in my film directing career. If you guys haven't already, go watch Static Shock Uprisings right here on my YouTube channel. But I mean, I hope so. Like, look at it like this. Black Panther, when it came out, Black Panther and A Wrinkle in Time, they were done by two black people. Ava DuVernay and Ryan Coogler were leading the box office for the first time. It was Ava DuVernay and Ryan Coogler leading the box office as black directors ever. When Wrinkle first came out, it did really well in the box office along with Black Panther. Now, obviously, that movie fell off during the next few weeks, but those were the two leading black people in movies during that time of this year where they were leading the box office. So I hope one day we will get more of that. Keep in mind, Hollywood is now allowing certain things to go on where there's being more opportunities created for more people of color, more minorities are being featured into things. So I will hope that one day we will see like the top 5 movies that were directed by black people are being led in the box office. But you never know. Time will tell. If something like Black Panther and Wrinkle in Time can do it, I'm sure some other film can do it as well, where we have more and more diversity in Hollywood. So thank you for your question, Tyler Brown. That was an amazing question. Now I'm going to come to the last and final question, and it comes from a Sheila Jackson, and she writes, Do you think shows like Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives, and etc. are shows that are creative and inspiring? So thank you for your question, Sheila. I'm just going to assume that this is the first time you've seen some of my content. I normally don't talk about reality shows. I normally don't talk about, things that are happening in media that much. But this is what this show is for. Ask Alex, to talk about random topics. And I chose this question because I don't really talk about these particular things, but I wanted to dive into it a little bit. So to answer your question, do I think that these shows are creative and inspiring? Honestly, no. Not even remotely. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. Love and Hip Hop is so, in my opinion, so stupid. It's the same thing. You watch females arguing who want to be rappers or singers. You watch men who are already rappers or singers, and they're always beefing with each other. There's always some form of mess. There's always some form of negativity. You always got someone trying to be a breakout star. You're always having somebody trying to sleep with this person, that person. I get it that might be a reality for some people, but personally, from a creative standpoint, that is not creativity to me. It's not. I don't think it's inspiring either. Because when I look at especially black people, I hope no black person wants to aspire to live those types of lifestyles. I hope no one wants to aspire to that, because those, in my opinion, are very negative stereotypes. And I'm not saying that that's how black people live in general, because that's not. But those stereotypes that we see on Love and Hip Hop are not, those are something that as black people or just people in general, we should not be aspiring to. Those things are not inspiring. Those things are not productive or positive, in my opinion. In my opinion, every Love and Hip Hop, there's like 5 of them where they're in different cities, like Love and Hip Hop Miami and LA and all this other stuff. There's like a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on in those particular shows. Do I think some of it's scripted? Possibly. But I don't really think that none of it is positive. That's just my humble opinion. Answer the second part of your question, what about Real Housewives? Again, Real Housewives, from a creative standpoint, they're somewhat all the same. Even the ones that don't include minorities, that are not heavily have minorities in them, like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Orange County and all this other stuff, they're not that creative in my opinion. Every season is the same thing. Someone said this, someone did that, someone said this, someone did that. And here's the thing. The reason why those shows are still on the air is because they do bring in a certain amount of audience of people who watch those shows. So they still make great ratings on the show. But for the most part, I don't really like them. I don't watch them. I think that they're kind of stupid in my opinion. So thank you for your question, Sheila. Well, that concludes this episode of Ask Alex. Thank you guys for watching the show. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in next week where you get to see another episode of Ask Alex. Go ahead and send me your questions. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you for watching this video. If you're not a subscriber to Brand New Productions, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube page by clicking this button right here. And also, if you want to see all the different content that I'm putting out, go ahead and click on this video up here or this video down here, where you get to see all the different content I'll be coming out with, whether it's short films, movie reviews, or any other thing that I'm doing on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. You guys have a great day.